Hey, what is up, mortals? Welcome to Season 1, Part 7 of What If Deku Had Shazaam's Powers. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the story. Last time, Class 1A participated in their work studies, and Izuku went to train under All Might's old teacher Gran Torino. During the work studies, Izuku became close to Torino and had extra days of training before the Hasu incident. When the incident began, Torino gave Izuku permission to use his quirk, and Izuku took down 2 out of the 3 Namas, and once realizing Ida was missing, Izuku found him and captured the hero killer Stain. Izuku then gained praise for his deeds, getting credit for his actions, and spending nearly the rest of his internship at the emotionally vulnerable Ida's side. After the studies were over, Izuku returned to UA, finally learning the secret of how one for all was made and who all for one is. Izuku looks out the window thinking about all the things that have brought him to this point. While his classmates all talk about the end-of-term test, Izuku only clues back into what people are saying after hearing Kaminari and Ashido's concern for the coming tests. And once hearing Mainta boast about his placement, Izuku stands up, walking over to his 2 concerned classmates saying, "I know you guys can do this, and no matter what, as long as you do your best, you'll be the best." Well, that's easy for you to say. You have all this amazing power that you only really need to try and keep up with studies, Kaminari replies solely. Ashido then smacks Kaminari on the back of the head before saying, "Thanks for the encouragement. You know Kaminari and talk before he thinks. It's no big deal. For all he knows, he only sees me as this powerhouse. But Kaminari, keep in mind I did a lot of work to get where I am. Yes, I had some help, but everyone does in their lives," Izuku replies. After hearing this, Kaminari gives a friendly smile at Izuku, then saying, "Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just hard to imagine you in my kind of situation. I didn't think about the journey you had to go through to be what you are. I'm sorry for what I said, Midoriya." Ada then steps in saying, "You two can bring your marks up. I suggest you just write down everything the teacher says like I do. It really works wonders." Or Kaminari, "You could just show up to more of the classes and pay attention more in the classes you actually come to," Todoroki replies. Kaminari takes a slight offense to this but doesn't think on it for long since Yaoyorozu offers to help them up their grades and get ready for the tests. They both quickly accept this, and Ajiro, Jiro, and Siro ask if they can join in the study, which excites Yaoyorozu at the prospect of helping all of them. At lunch, Izuku sits with Ida, Todoroki, Uraraka, Asui, and Hagakure, where they all talk about how well they think they are going to do on the exams, until Monoma bumps into Izuku, who then says, "Look who it is, the crappy hero who couldn't be smart and run away. You were lucky that your friend somehow beat the hero killer." Ida lowers his head in shame at this, not saying anything to Monoma. Izuku, seeing Ida's sadness, says, "Oh yeah, luck you say. How is it lucky that the villain's attacks didn't even leave a scratch on me? And I beat him in 2 punches. Monoma looks at this, scoffing before saying, "You somehow lucked out against the hero killer. If you fought someone like me or anyone in Class 1B, you'd have no chance of winning. We are in a different league compared to you 1A. Attention, hogs." Before Izuku can reply, Kendo comes up, hitting Monoma in the back of the neck, knocking Monoma out cold. Kendo then says, "I'm sorry for him, he's the black sheep of the class. Also, I heard you talking about the coming test. I heard from a friend in a higher grade that we were going to be fighting robots again, like in the entrance exam." Monoma then wakes up complaining about how Kendo told them about their secrets, but Kendo just knocks him out again, apologizing again before dragging Monoma away back to their lunch table. After their next class, Bakugo confronts Izuku, telling him how the sports festival win was a fluke and that he had no chance of beating him in the coming test. Then for the final week before the test, all of Class 1A studies hard for the end-of-term written test, which luckily they all pass. Eventually, on the day of the practical test, Wana meets with the teachers of UA and Aizawa tells them about the practical test they will be going through. "For simplicity's sakes, we are going to have everyone's tests go the same as canon except Izuku and Bakugo versus All Might. Izuku and Bakugo's match is determined to go last, and while they wait, Izuku takes notes on his classmates' and teachers' performances. Eventually, when their test comes around, Izuku tells Bakugo his plan, and unlike canon, Bakugo listens since Izuku has somewhat gained some respect from Bakugo. Izuku's plan goes as follows. Izuku will transform and fight All Might, distracting him while Bakugo sneakily makes it to the exit. When the match starts, Izuku shouts, "Shazaam!" and rockets down the street straight towards the already pre-transformed All Might. Seeing Izuku rush at him, All Might throws a fully charged punch at Izuku, and with the dust cover, he sends a massive blast of lightning at him. Izuku gets slightly slowed from the dust cloud and is taken by surprise when the lightning comes at him, striking him. Izuku then falls on his ass, saying, "So that's what that feels like," with a slight grunt at the end. However, before Izuku is back on his feet, All Might is directly above him, flying straight towards him with a punch lined up. Seeing his chance, Izuku shouts, "Shazaam!" which causes the lightning to come down. But it doesn't strike Izuku, no. It hits All Might, transforming him back into regular All Might. Seeing the opening, Izuku rockets up toward All Might, punching him upwards while also tanking a 100% hit from All Might that smashes all the remaining windows and slightly damages the buildings from the massive shock wave. It also launches Izuku back into the ground, forming a small crater. Izuku then gets up, rubbing his neck before saying, "Oh, that wasn't nice," before flying up to confront All Might again. Izuku just gets above the clouds before a once again transformed All Might grabs hold of him, rocketing the two of them down into a large building and slamming Izuku through it all while Izuku is hitting All Might with multiple one-for-all and lightning-charged punches. Once hitting the floor of the building, All Might punches Izuku multiple times while Izuku tries to block him until Izuku shouts Shazam again. Although All Might was expecting this, so he quickly grabbed the unexpecting Izuku and lifted him up towards the sky, causing the lightning to hit Izuku. Izuku then transforms into his regular form, thinking, "Shit," right before All Might punched him in the face, knocking out Izuku. Before we get back into the story, I would like to say that we've got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the hard facts of the anime presented. If you are interested in content like this, please go check the description below or click the eye icon in the top right corner. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. All Might then takes a breath, heavily breathing while feeling his back for a minute until he remembers Bakugo was also involved in the exercise. All Might then flies straight up and flies as quick as he can towards the exit gate, but All Might isn't even able to get past the next building before hearing the announcement that Izuku and Bakugo passed the test. All Might then stops midair saying, "Huh, good job, kid. You distracted me." While Bakugo got to the gate, he then flies back to the wrecked building where Izuku is out cold in and flies him to the nurse's office. Recovery Girl then heals Izuku from only a big bruise on his head, which Izuku then promptly thanks Recovery Girl for. Izuku then leaves the office, catching back up with Ada and Adaraka, then talking to the two of them about how the tests went. Although, Bakugo walks up to the three of them saying, "Hey, you damn nerd. Good job on the strategy today. I'm only congratulating you because we won, and I'm happy anytime you take a beating." Jumping to the summer, Izuku gets contacted by All Might, who asks him if he wanted to fly to I Island with him and spend some time with him there. Izuku doesn't need All Might to invite him since Izuku won the sports festival. Side note, for simplicity's sake, we are going to have all the people who were at the I Island be at I Island. When Izuku and All Might get off the plane, they get swarmed by reporters, and after a couple of hours, they are able to lose the mob and meet up with Melissa Shield. All Might then introduces Izuku to Melissa before she leads the two of them to her dad's lab. Once getting to the lab, All Might and Melissa surprise David like canon, and All Might introduces Izuku to David, although Izuku fanboys for David, going on about lots of the things he has done. They all then chat for a couple of hours until David tells Melissa to show Izuku around the expo. Melissa then walks around with Izuku, where they get to know each other better. Although, back in David's lab, he is shocked by All Might's power readings, saying, "Weren't you injured, Toshi?" "Yeah, I kind of found a way to get a lot better. Why are you so surprised?" All Might replies in a confused tone, "I'm shocked because your power isn't just back to your pre-injury power, it's nearly twice as strong as it. How'd you become so much stronger?" David asks in an intrigued tone. All Might shrugs at him before saying, "It's a trade secret, Dave." David swivels his chair to be pointing towards All Might, giving him another intrigued look. "Toshi, you can trust me. I've known you for years. You can tell me how you did it," replies David. "I'd love to, but it isn't my secret to just tell. If I were to tell it, I'd have to get you Midoriya's permission. Frankly, I'm not the best person to explain it. All I can tell you is that with the increase in my physical prowess also came some new tricks," replies All Might. "That kid you were with is the one that is thanks to all this power." "Wow, and what do you mean new tricks?" David replies. All Might then starts to fly, saying, "This is just the first new trick." All Might then showed David all the things he was able to do without explaining how he attained his new abilities. Back with Izuku and Melissa, she shows Izuku around more of Expo, showing him lots of cool advanced tech, and they talk about what both of their driving forces are to become a scientist and hero respectively. Izuku and Melissa have a good time walking around until Uraraka, Yaoyorozu, and Gyro appear, jump scaring the two of them. The three girls then question Izuku about what they think is a date with Melissa, but Izuku stops them, saying, "Why you think this is a date? No, it isn't a date. Melissa and I are just friends, and she's been showing me around the expo." The five then go to the cafe, and Melissa chats with Izuku's classmates, getting along with each other much to Izuku's relief. They chat until Kaminari and Minto appear, surprising their classmates that they are working at the cafe. Although, before Kaminari and Minto can chat for long, Ada appears lecturing the boys to get back to work. Yaoyorozu then explains how they got here, which is the same as canon, and Melissa promises to show all of them around when the expo is open, but their conversation gets interrupted when they hear an explosion nearby. Once they get to the source of the noise, they see Kirishima defeat several robots in 33 seconds, getting the 8th place on the leaderboard. Bakugo then follows him up, clearing the robots in only 15 seconds, getting first place. Kirishima then notices his classmates in the stands and greets them. This brings Izuku's arrival to Bakugo's attention, causing Bakugo to get in Izuku's face, saying, "What are you doing here, shitty nerd?" "I am watching the competition, what's it look like, Kakin?" Izuku somewhat sternly replies. Bakugo then grunts at this, jumping over the railing before Izuku gets pushed into signing up for the competition. Izuku then walks up to the start and shouts Shazam, causing the lightning to come down, transforming Izuku. He then powers up to 80% of One for All. Once the time starts, Izuku moves so quickly that no one even sees him move, only feeling the shock waves from his movement. And the timer stops with Izuku completing the course in 2.1 seconds. This shocks the crowd, which then erupts in cheering for Izuku. He then waves before shouting Shazam, then using full cowl to jump back to where his classmates are. Once getting to his classmates, Bakugo grabs him by his shirt, saying, "Who do you think you are, upstaging me? Me of all people, I'll kill you, Deku." In an anger-filled, raspy voice, Bakugo completely ignores Todoroki's results, being too caught up in his own head. Todoroki then joins his classmates and walking around with them. They all then meet back up with Mineta and Kaminari, and Melissa invites them to the party, which brings the boys to tears. Ada then tells everyone to meet at the party at 6:30 p.m. before leaving the group. Everyone separates to go get ready for the party in their own rooms. Later, Izuku shows up late for the meet time, being 10 minutes late, seeing Todoroki, Kaminari, and Mineta waiting for him. Izuku then gets scolded by Ada for a minute before the girls arrive. They all are about to join with the party until villains appear, stopping All Might's speech short, and the villains tell them how they have taken over the island. Izuku and his friends then see the hostage situation going on and freeze, trying to figure out what to do. XD time. Will Izuku and his friends be able to save everyone on the island, or will they end up as more hostages and make things only worse? Find out next time. Outro. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there is a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. On behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editor for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the recruitment Discord in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time. Peace out, mortals. Have an amazing day.